Welcome to Wellness Made Easy. Today, Larry Logsdon is joined by Dr. Bob Martin, host of the nation's largest syndicated health talk show, airing on over 500 radio stations. Are statin drugs really saving lives? Could chronic inflammation be the real culprit behind high cholesterol? And is there a natural path to better health that's being overlooked? Stay tuned. You're about to hear a discussion that might change how you think about your medicine cabinet.
Let's turn our attention now to a very important topic. In fact, the number one selling drug category in America. Can you guess what that is? What type of drug for what condition do you think is number one in terms of sales and big-time profitability for pharmaceutical companies? Well, if you guessed cholesterol-lowering drugs, you would be right on. It is exactly that. The number one drug-selling category in the United States is cholesterol drugs, statin drugs. So we thought we'd talk about that today since a lot of people are taking these statin drugs, millions and millions of them, maybe taking statin cholesterol-lowering drugs that they actually do not need, meaning unnecessarily. Now, statin-lowering drugs being ranked as number one, you got to believe that it's a big industry there. Yet, according to a comprehensive research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA, says that cholesterol-lowering drugs save 0 lives. They save 0 lives. And you, what? What, Dr. Bob? What do you mean? Oh, my doctor certainly wouldn't prescribe it if he didn't think it was going to save my life from having a heart attack or a stroke. Well, it's true. That's according to the Journal of the American Medical Association. Cholesterol-lowering drugs save 0 lives. Now, the hype about cholesterol-lowering drugs, statin drugs, is relentless these days, it seems. Doctors are urging patients to take these drugs even when they don't have high cholesterol. And you might say, well, wow, is that ethical? Well, the American Diabetes Association, for its part in this, ridiculously suggests that all diabetic patients should be on these cholesterol-lowering drugs or statins just in case scientists one day down the road discover some benefit to the diabetic. Well, here's a news flash. One of the potential adverse side effects of taking statin cholesterol-lowering drugs is, you guessed it, raising your blood sugar and increasing your risk of the very disease that organization, the American Diabetes Association, claims to be concerned about, type 2 diabetes. And to make matters worse, statin drugs, cholesterol-lowering drugs, may cause an alarming assortment of side effects, including alteration of your sex drive, depression, even the big C, I do mean cancer, pancreatitis, can cause nutritional deficiencies to occur, muscular disorders, muscular pain, and shrinkage, and neuropathy, and memory loss, and on and on and on. You just keep going. And again, I'm not saying that you should stop and we never do that. We're not saying to stop your cholesterol-lowering drugs because you're hearing this. Check with your doctor or a pharmacist. That's a call you'll have to make after you perform your due diligence. All we're saying is, look, what the heck is the Journal of the American Medical Association, what are they trying to say when they say that so many people are taking these drugs unnecessarily? Well, my special guest and I will discuss this very topic and also talk about how to give you options to healthfully manage your cholesterol while targeting the actual cause behind elevated cholesterol, which is really chronic bodily inflammation. Excess bodily inflammation causes the human body to produce cholesterol as a secondary effect to attempt to remedy the problem. We will also be sharing an audio tape with you about a former professional athlete that my guest Larry Logsdon knows, whose health was decimated as a result of taking these statin drugs. So if you or someone you know is taking a cholesterol-lowering drug, this is for you. All right, let's introduce our special guest, bring him on. His name is Larry Logsdon. As I mentioned, he is a functional food researcher specializing in medicinal properties and the benefits of exotic fruits. Larry founded the Tahiti Trader Company back in 1998. I invited him to be a guest to discuss this topic. And with that, let us welcome Larry Logsdon back to the Dr. Bob Martin Show. Good day to you, Larry.
Good morning, Dr. Bob. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for agreeing to talk on the show about this topic. I just wanted to start off with the basics, if we can, because there are people who are listening for the first time or may not be aware of the ins and outs of statins or may in the future be prescribed one. Can you tell the audience, Larry, just as a basic, what are statins and what are they doing? What are they really doing?
Well, Dr. Bob, about 17 million Americans are taking statin drugs these days in an attempt to...
Unnecessarily, by the way. Unnecessarily.
Most people, they don't need them. That is absolutely true. But the idea is to reduce cholesterol in the bloodstream because the doctor thinks there's way too much of it and it could cause a heart attack or a stroke or some other darn thing. And the reality is most people probably don't need them. Probably not. But the real issue is it causes all these side effects like muscle pain and damage, liver damage, increased blood sugar. I mean, everybody's blood sugar goes through the roof when they take those darn things. And then there's neurological side effects too. And of course, the list goes on and on.
Mm-hmm. And I want to also jump in here, Larry, and just make sure this disclaimer goes out because I don't want people just tuning in for the first time and getting the impression that we're saying, stop already. Your statin drugs. We're not saying that. We're not even suggesting it. We're giving you information, folks, that you may not find anywhere else. That's what this show prides itself of doing, is bringing you information that may be hidden, it may be glossed over, it may be cloaked in some manner, or just not discussed, implicit or explicit. So that's what we're trying to do, is educate you, because the more you know about your health, the better off you're going to be. And I believe this. There are probably people who have benefited by statin drugs, but when you read this information that comes out of the Journal of the American Medical Association stating that people basically, there's no cause of death, it doesn't save lives, zero, by taking cholesterol. Then one asks the question, Larry, well, if it doesn't cause people from dying from cholesterol, why am I taking this then? You know what I'm saying?
Good question, Dr. Bob. I haven't figured out that one quite yet. I do know one thing. The doctors will put the fear of God in you to take these darn things to get your cholesterol back where they'd like it to be. And the side effects, don't worry about those. But guess what? Those things are much worse than most people know. And that really is our discussion today, really.
Yep. Well, that's true. We don't want to talk about a problem, leave people twisting in the wind without solutions. That's why I asked you to be here, but I thought we would set the groundwork for the discussion, and that is that, one, this whole thing that the pharmaceutical companies have created years ago to ramp up their profitability in selling statin drugs was based on, well, misinformation, disinformation, and perhaps other agenda. But now, as we get further down the road and the science is starting to look back, they're going, wait a minute. The cholesterol production may be secondary to what the real reason is behind elevated levels of cholesterol, and that is inflammation. It's almost as though the body's making cholesterol to form a liquid Band-Aid there, but it's really not the problem. Well,
that's right.
It is, and what do you do to correct it? What do you do to remedy that? And that's what I want to help our audience to better understand today. This is not a program based on telling doctors what to do and not do, or telling lay people what to do with their health or not to do, but rather just laying the information out to the audience so they can better understand what we're really talking about here. And so that's what we're doing. Now, we're going to take a break and come back, Larry, and let's get into, and you brought an audio tape with you of an individual, a professional athlete who took these cholesterol-lowering drugs and was decimated from it. I want to have that audio tape played, which you provided for me, so my audience can listen to this. So our special guest with us is Larry Logsdon. He is a functional food researcher, and we're talking about the dilemma associated with the issue of cholesterol-lowering drugs, or statin drugs. And many experts believe now that way too many people take statin drugs unnecessarily, and we're not here telling you to stop them or even consider that. That's something you, with consultation with a doctor or pharmacist, can decide on if that's in the cards for you. But what we're here to do is to educate you, and we've talked about how the Journal of the American Medical Association talks about how cholesterol-lowering drugs have saved 0 lives through their entire process of since they went into the marketplace and people started consuming them. Now, I told you prior to going to that last break that Larry brought along with him, Larry Logsdon, my special guest on this topic, he brought along with him an audio tape of a elite athlete, a professional athlete who had a really bad reaction. And his is not unusual. There are many people who have problems with taking cholesterol-lowering drugs, and some people don't. But this particular individual, John Sheehan, his remarkable story about his cholesterol situation, Larry. First of all, Larry, thank you for providing that to me so I could listen to it. And welcome back to the program. If you don't mind, Larry, I'd like to play John Sheehan's story, and then you and I can talk about it on the other side. Is that okay?
Yeah, sounds like a good way to go.
All right. Xander, go ahead and play this audio tape. This is an interview between my guest, Larry Logsdon, and John Sheehan, the professional hockey player. Go.
Hey, John, can you tell me, how did you hear about Noni Juice? Where did all that start?
So Frankie Boyer, when I met her, I had a lot of diseases, and what had happened real quick, 2018, I took a heart attack. They put me on Lipitor, 80 milligrams a day right out of the gate. 4 months later, my body shut down. Complete shutdown. I ended up with diabetes type 1, necrotizing myopathy, autoimmune disease, which is where my inflammation is eating my muscles. And you know what? And some other diseases too, right? And then the side effects of the diseases that caused me. So I met Frankie, I think about almost 3 years ago. She had Noni Juice. She was drinking Noni Juice. And she says, you got to try it. And, you know, I was like, nah, I was not into that sort of thing, right? So I finally tried it, and it took a little bit. And I'll tell you, the biggest bang for my buck out of the Noni Juice is keeping my blood sugar levels down. Yeah, my insulin, I was, you know, with the type of diabetes I have to take insulin before I eat. And then long-lasting insulin. But my blood sugar was always spiking. The Noni Juice leveled it off, and I actually am taking much less insulin nowadays. And I attribute that to the Noni Juice.
So you started using it a couple of years ago, and you found that your blood sugar is better. And what are other kinds of issues that were you dealing with, and how are they?
So the necrotizing myopathy, it's a very rare fatal disease. The average lifespan once you get it is 5 years. I'm going on 7 years now. My muscles have been eaten away, but they still have strength to them. And as of right now, they check my CPK levels. That's how they determine if the inflammation is eating away at my muscles. So my CPK levels were always high. I started taking the Noni Juice. My CPK levels, every blood test I get, which is every 3 months, is either in range or well below the range that it should be, which is good. Below the range is good. So that's, you know, I have to attribute it to the Noni Juice.
Okay, well, that's quite a dramatic story there, Larry, of Mr. Sheehan's scary effect. I mean, it zapped his pancreas to the extent that it shut down his beta cells from even producing insulin, apparently.
Yep.
And then caused all these other adverse side effects. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're not here again to tell you to stop your cholesterol-lowering drugs or anything else. And there's never a one-trick pony. He had remarkable results taking a fruit, an exotic fruit that has a lot of medicinal properties to it, Tahiti Trader Noni Juice. But obviously, a big, wide-ranging approach is very necessary when you have cholesterol issues, meaning we know there are foods that help with that, from olive oil to vegetables to nuts and seeds and salmon in the diet, and fiber in the form of beans and legumes and sweet potatoes and, you know, gluten-free whole grains, all of that, plus exercise and other supplements, and avoiding sugar and excessively high-fat, the standard American diet. And we're not here to suggest that Tahiti Trader Noni Juice is the only thing, but it is a big part, it sounds like, Larry, of Mr. Sheehan's recovery which to me is remarkable. So can you tell the audience why this exotic fruit, noni juice, is so successful? Maybe they haven't even heard of it ever or have ever experienced it.
Well, you're right, Dr. Bob. You see, folks, noni juice acts upon the COX-2 enzyme, and that's the one that gets your inflammation going like crazy, which is the real problem. And so it helps to modulate your inflammation through the COX-2 enzyme management. This is how the body then starts to cool down. Then it helps for the body to better manage glucose. It's a big deal. That's why his blood sugar is under better control. It's real simple. And guess what? It works right away. It depends on what your case is. But if you take 1 to 3 ounces 3 times a day of the island-style noni juice, the stuff that's got all the pulp in it, inside of about 30 to 40 days, you're going to find yourself going, things are better, and I feel better. It's a big deal.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is not like drinking, orange juice, apple juice, or grape juice. He said it right there. It's the key. The island-style Tahiti Trader Noni Juice. That's not something that, is going to be like tasting sweet to you. It'll have kind of I would describe it as a more of a vinegary taste. Not too bad. I've tasted a lot worse than that, tasting echinacea and oregano oil, I'll tell you that. But if I have a pancreatic problem, like with blood sugar, or I have high cholesterol, bring on anything besides the adverse side effects that those drugs will potentially cause people to have. So if you are in the market for lowering your cholesterol and actually dealing with the cause of the cholesterol, which is inflammation, which is the smoking gun, it's the secret sauce in the Tahiti Trader Noni Juice Island Style. There's 2 different ones. Island Style, which is the more therapeutic one, doesn't taste as good as the other one, which is flavored with blueberry and raspberry, Larry?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that one is a little sweeter. I wouldn't recommend that for people who have, they're wanting to lower their blood sugar, but you can certainly get after it with the therapeutic style.
No question about it.
Style Tahiti Trader Noni Juice. And then, of course, the key is put the whole program together. Get your exercise back online. Make sure you're avoiding those hydrogenated fats and excessive American diet fats. And make sure the foods that are going into your pie hole are more oriented towards vegetables and gluten-free whole grains, 100% whole grains, nut seeds, salmon, garlic, all the other herbs that are out there. I mean, look at it as a whole package and use the Tahiti Trader Noni Juice Island-style formula to help quell or quash the inflammatory process, which is why the body is cranking up the cholesterol in the first place.
Exactly.
So you'll actually be addressing the underlying cause rather than chasing, and it never goes away, the cholesterol by interfering with a pathway where your body tries to make cholesterol to remedy the problem. And in doing so, those cholesterol drugs set you up for adverse side effects, including severe coenzyme Q deficiency, and then dismantle your entire cellular mitochondrial energy. And that's why a lot of people on cholesterol-lowering drugs have major fatigue and other problems. All right, Larry, we're going to take another break here, and when we come back, we'll finish this conversation about giving people options should they have issues with or are concerned about high cholesterol and really want to look at a potential other process of dealing with that safely and naturally in science base. And then we will direct them to how they can find out more about the Tahiti Trader Noni Juice Island Style. Special guest with us, Larry Logsdon. We're talking about the dilemma of millions of people taking statin drugs, cholesterol-lowering drugs that they don't need, according to many experts. And we're here to not talk you out of taking them, but rather give you options to address the real reason why cholesterol is in excess in the first place. Now, there are a lot of reasons. You can have genetic issues, lifestyle issues, of course, but inflammation is really the driving mechanism behind why the body starts cranking up the cholesterol to send this little fat slick to the area of inflammation to coat it over. But unfortunately, that accumulates and then it draws other things to it, and that can cause a clot, and that can create a problem. So, Larry, again, for those people who are just tuning into the program, why Noni Juice? Why the Tahiti Trader Noni Juice Island Style will help impact not only somebody's cholesterol management concerns, but also their blood sugar concerns.
Well, Dr. Bob, the Island Style Noni Juice helps manage blood pressure and blood sugar because of the antioxidants that are present in there. There's more than 165 unique chemical compounds found in Noni Juice, not found in anything else. And we put in the pulp as well, so you get everything. But you see, it helps to manage the COX-2 enzyme, and that COX-2 enzyme is what manages inflammation. So that's how you get it under control, folks. And it works every time. All you need to do is get on a good course of it, usually 1 to 3 ounces per day, and about 30 to 45 days to get a full load in your system, and you'll find things are changing for the good, of course.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for Tahiti Trader Noni Juice in the marketplace, you can find it at GNC stores. You can find it at Whole Foods, Vitamin Shop. Anyone I'm missing here, Larry?
Sprouts locally. Lots of Sprout stores, yeah.
Sprouts Farmers Markets Valley-wide. When you go in there, you're looking for Tahiti Trader Noni Juice. And in this regard, we're talking about the more therapeutic version of it. There's a maintenance version for people who don't have blood sugar issues, and that's the Tahiti Trader Noni Juice, which is delicious. It actually has flavorings of natural organic blueberries and raspberries. But the one we're talking about here is a therapeutic version of Tahiti Trader Noni Juice called Island Style. So if lowering your blood sugar is something, and keeping your blood sugar in perfect range or optimal range, and addressing the cholesterol issue while you work on the lifestyles which may have gotten you into these issues, as in not exercising enough and taking in too many calories and eating the standard American diet instead of a Mediterranean style diet, then this may help to extricate you like it did Mr. Sheehan, who is an athlete. You wouldn't think a professional hockey player, elite athlete in good shape would ever develop these things, but it can happen. There's other underlying mitigating factors that happen. So if it can happen to him, it can happen to you. Tahiti Trader Noni Juice Island Style. And I imagine, Larry, that there are other benefits, that if a person's blood sugar benefits by this and their cholesterol is benefiting by it, perhaps maybe they can lose some weight too if they incorporate all these good things we're talking about here. Is that
absolutely
correct?
Yes, you're going to find that your weight is better managed also. And the cool thing about drinking the juice, you're going to feel better, folks. So start noticing you feel better every day. Pain is released. Your energy is incredible. And you're saying to yourself, why haven't I discovered this sooner?
Mm-hmm. Larry, any side effects to be concerned about? I know this obviously is a functional food. It's a therapeutic food. It's a juice that people drink that has all kinds of interesting and science-based attributes to it, including interfering with that inflammatory hormone or inflammatory cascade that causes the body to make excessive cholesterol and causes the body to elevate blood sugar. Are there any side effects if somebody's taking other medications or other supplements, any potential adverse side effects of taking the Tahiti Trader Noni Juice Island Style?
No, there are no adverse ones. They're only good ones. You're going to enjoy the way you feel. It's one of those great decisions in your life.
Mm-hmm. I would recommend when people start on that, just sort of like maybe weigh yourself, take your blood pressure, know what your cholesterol is, and after 90 or 120 days of taking the Tahiti Trader Noni Juice Island Style, go back and revisit that. Check your blood sugar, check your blood pressure, do an assessment of how you look at, maybe write down the things before you start the Tahiti Trader Noni Juice, like how you're feeling, and put that away, and then 90 or 120 days later, get it out and see if those symptoms that were plaguing you, and you've been uttering the 5 dangerous words, maybe it will go away, and it never does. Maybe they'll be gone, and you'll be thanking Larry Logsdon and yours truly for bringing these messages to you. That would be a wonderful thing. Larry, we have ended our interview now. I want to thank you for what you do and what you bring to the marketplace for consumers to help themselves out with food being their medicine, as it were. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to having you back on the show in the near future.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me, Dr. Bob.
All right. Thank you, Larry. All right. Tahiti Trader Noni Juice, island style, in finer health food stores valley-wide.
Thanks for tuning in to Wellness Made Easy. For more insights and wellness tools, follow us on social media or visit tahititrader.com. Take care, stay curious, and stay well.